Town is the largest single loss of American civilian life in a non-natural disaster until 9/11. 918 people dead, 250 of them children, less than 100 survived. The events of Jonestown had a strong link with its historical background. The 1960s and 70s was a period of social change and political uprisings. During the Vietnam War, many citizens were disappointed with the American government and wanted a different philosophy in which equality and social justice was emphasized. The Vietnam War led to the death of 50,000 Americans, so citizens were weak and searching for hope. Jim Jones convinced many that he was the light of hope. The People's Temple was founded during an era known as the Cold War, which in turn used to describe the conflicts and tensions among communist nations, primarily Soviet Union, and democratic nations led by the United States after World War II. This is critical to the start of the People's Temple because Americans opposed the idea of communism, and Jim Jones created a communist settlement referred to as Jonestown. America had different views than that of the Soviet Union and others. Jim Jones was in favor of the views of the Soviet Union and structured his settlement according to them.
Having this vision to change the world, but having this whole undercurrent of dysfunction that was underneath that vision.
Some people see a great deal of God in my body. They see Christ in me, a hope of glory.
He said, if you see me as your friend, I'll be your friend. As you see me as your father, I'll be your father. He said, if you see me as your God.
Jim Jones won over these weak people using his attributes. He was charismatic, strange, unique, powerful, cunning, manipulative, infamous, convincing, controlling, and evil. All these attributes created a human being who had the power to bring evil to this world. The People's Temple was founded in the mid-1950s by Indianapolis preacher James Warren Jones, who was also known as Jim. He preached about human freedom, equality, and love, which included helping the unfortunate in society. Later in Jonestown, he became a cruel tyrant and began to favor communism.
The temple was criticized for its views in Indiana, so they relocated to California. There were rumors that Jim Jones had been abusing members who questioned him. In the following years, they opened other branches in Los Angeles and San Francisco, which they made their headquarters. Jim Jones was politically active and met with prominent politicians, which is unlikely for a cult leader. But he most likely did this to lower his chances of them questioning his intentions.
In 1973, the People's Temple once again started facing criticism for their opinions and beliefs by media. So Jim Jones decided that the best option was for them to get out of the USA before police began investigating. He decided they should move to Guyana, which is located in South America. He claimed they were moving to conduct an agricultural project. Certain attributes of Guyana attracted Jones, such as its socialist politics, which went along with his teachings. Also, it was an English-speaking country and was small enough to gain protection and influence with ease. In 1974, they negotiated a lease for almost 4,000 acres in northwest Guyana, and was officially named People's Temple Agricultural Project. Jones persuaded members by telling them that it was a utopia, socialist paradise, and amongst the purest communities on earth, where they could get away from media criticism. Jim Jones told that he wanted to keep an open door to cooperation with the United States, but like other communist places, didn't allow members to leave.
Members lived in small houses and worked from around 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. for 6 days a week and only had an hour for lunch. They repeatedly ate the same food, which consisted of rice, beans, vegetable, meat sauce, and eggs. Some components of Jonestown life was odd, such as children called Jim Jones father. People attended classes on socialism, discussions on revolution, and harsh punishment methods such as enclosing people in a small box were often used even on small children. Jonestown had received complaints about members being abused by leaders such as Jim Jones. Relatives felt that members of Jonestown were being brainwashed and held against their own will. The U.S. government decided to make a move investigating Jonestown. Some Jonestown members had been receiving monthly welfare payments, so they asked 75 of them if they were being held by force, but none of them admitted to it. Tim Stowen, a former member of the People's Temple, took this suspicion to the next level. He formed a group called Concerned Relatives, which was formed of people who were concerned with Jonestown. He also represented 3 members of his group in a lawsuit which stated Jonestown had improper living conditions.
On November 1st, 1978, Congressman Leo Ryan announced that he planned on visiting Jonestown due to the negative U.S. reaction. Ryan left to Guyana on November 14th. While in Jonestown, several members asked to leave in front of Leo Ryan, and Jim Jones had no choice but to say yes. On November 18th, Ryan's delegation left to the Port of Khartoum airstrip to leave Jonestown. Their planes arrived and they began boarding. Larry Layton, a passenger on plane, opened fire. Right around the same time, a tractor trailer came to the airstrip filled with People Temple's security squad and opened fire on the others. Ryan and 4 others were killed in the shooting and many injured.
Jim Jones called a meeting that same day, and before that meeting he had prepared Flavor Aid, which was poisoned with mainly cyanide. This cyanide had been coming to Jonestown since 1976, and Jim Jones claimed it was only used for cleaning gold. He had even got a jeweler's license so that he could purchase the cyanide. This most likely means that this was premeditated and he had evil intentions prior to the suicide. He told them that after the death of Congressman Ryan, the temple would no longer be able to function. He told them that instead of returning to the USA, they should perform the ultimate sacrifice for their church by committing what he called revolutionary suicide. He said that they should also murder even the children, because if they leave them, they will be converted to other religions and adopt different beliefs. They first forced children and infants to drink the poison and then proceeded to drink it themselves willingly. After drinking the poison, there was no going back. The people would collapse shortly after and die. Jim Jones didn't drink the poison Flavor Aid. He was found dead on the ground with a bullet wound in his head. Plastic cups, Flavor Aid packets, and syringes were spotted lying next to the dead bodies in Jonestown. The death toll of these events is 918 and consists of over 250 children. There was a total of 87 temple members who survived. They performed many different actions to survive, such as pretending to be dead, hiding in various places such as the nearby jungle, and fleeing Jonestown prior to the revolutionary suicide.
Although Jonestown has been left in the shadows of the United States, it will be infamously imprinted on the United States history. Could an event of this nature happen again?